In 1972, Germany was exploding with talent, with numerous bands, but one of the loudest, thickest, and most rupturous sounds was produced by a two-man band. I am talking about 69, and from their 1972 Philips release, Circle of the Crayfish, the opener, Ballast. Oh, hear that organ just get tore up. Hear it distorting, like yeah. Each time it like kicks itself up, like it just comes like brimming and just bristling with, and that drum too. Those like 4 kick drums per bar. Almost like a drumming pattern that I would associate kind of with thrash or something, like where they put as many kick drums as possible. Okay, this is mid tempo, but you know what I mean. Playing like really like oftentimes like in rock you'll hear like 4 wallops per beat, but it's rare to hear like 4 kick drums per bar. I just love I love how on certain chords you get that more muted tone, and then on others it is much more trebly and those fills, those arpeggios. Yeah, I've often described this album as basically a Deep Purple Mark II and Quatermass on steroids. Now it's getting much more fuller. We're hearing like 2 layers. We're hearing kind of like the soupy layer and the distorted layer. Yeah, it's basically one layer is playing the role of a more conventional organ, while the other is taking the place of an electric guitar and like giving us the like rough organ approximation of like a distorted gruff rhythm guitar power chord. That no. And how is the bass being produced at the same time by these guys? Overdubbing, or I think we got no bass credit. We just bass pedals, I guess, or bass notes on the organ. Yeah. Basically taking C major and just stretching it out and accenting, corrupting it, moving up the scale of C, but a C, bed, a C bed nonetheless. Oh, now more of a smoky, kind of billowing sound, like darker. Yeah, kind of like a change of production almost, and then that really distorted, kind of like coming right out of the vortex. There's got to be some overdubbing here. I swear I'm hearing like 3 hands on, at least 3 hands on that. Those cutting tones amid these like chromatic moves. Notice the cymbal in my right speaker. I'm hearing this constant like cymbal, kind of like mist, while the drumming is just like persistent, like. Okay, now we're getting like a consistent like hit on the snare, like 1 2 3 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, notice on the organ, there's this one part that's kind of like approximating the bass, while the other is soloing. Oh yeah, those like kind of like stormy psych organ, like descent amid that doom, 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 which is supposed to like represent the bass. Oh, I hear him scale up and scale down, and it's panning from right to left. About time I introduced who we're hearing here. On organ, piano, okay, well, just organ for now. Armin, Stoewe. And yeah, just this album and the double live album of new material that followed by 69 in 1974. And drums, percussion, and gong, Roland, Schupp. And once again, well, just the 269 albums. And the 1980 album by a band called Stop. They look kind of New Deutsch well to me. I haven't heard that one yet. I have to bookmark it. Yeah, a lot of chromatic shifts and such in here. Moving like half steps, descending, ascending. Yeah, I'm very sure John Lord would have envied this. Being able to play with this much abandon in the studio, like never quite cut it. This well, of course, there were a lot more musicians in Deep Purple. It's like he had to kind of yield somewhat of the space, to Richie Blackmore. Yeah. This is basically Deep Purple with instrumental, of course, without any of the studio restraint that would have been imposed on Deep Purple, or would have been imposed on Richie Blackmore, who didn't want to be upstaged too much, or potentially upstaged. Oh, throwing in a quote, throwing in a classic. Yeah, throwing in a bit of In the Hall of Mountain Kings. Rip it up. There's so much bass, like reverb, that's just kind of like booming out of this. I'm noticing it more and more now. Just, I guess, pedals. Notice the organ, he's approximating kind of like a funky guitar riff right here. Yeah, couldn't you imagine that on like a wah-wah? Like... Can you believe, let's see, this record is going for, original copies are going for a median price of $110 according to Discogs, the highest sold at $266.67 according to Discogs, lowest $66. Wow, that was 69 with Ballast from their 1972 album, Circle of the Crayfish, their singular studio album, their debut. Yeah, and they would release a second album in 1974, simply titled Live, a double album of material, of new material that none of which appeared on Crayfish, yeah. So basically, and well recorded too for a live album of the era. So roughly 3 albums worth of material and of similar intensity. Yeah, a band that really knew how to jam, that really knew how to make a lot out of a rather simplistic arsenal. Just knew how to take the sonic potential of the small amount of instruments on hand and just like, yeah, just take the sonic intensity of each of them to the hilt. Yeah, just brimming with sound, volume, reverb, and distortion, feedback. The album, let's see, was co-produced by Peter Strecker, who also worked around that time with Agitation Free and Pell Mell and Epsilon and Group Between. And other producer, Wolfgang Sandner, who worked with pretty much those same artists as well as like, later had some involvement with Arvo Part, the Tabula Rasa release that's become quite popular. Yeah. Anyway, 69, one of the most intense and heavy releases of 1972, and yeah, including anything by Deep Purple. The heaviest of the heavy. And certainly Germany's heaviest of the heavy, yeah. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the 269 album, see the directory of albums by German artists linked in the description below for Red Hot Tracks and Purples from 69, as well as other German bands of the period, you know, like Lucifer's Friend, Agitation Free, Birth Control, Alloy. Yeah, goes on and on and on. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard, the intensity, the layers, the sonic boom of it all, the thrust, the heaviness, the fractiousness of it all. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled Tremaximalist, signing off.